Remember, God led you here for a reason. The question is, what will you do with it? Life isn't always easy. We all face moments when it feels like the weight of the world is on our shoulders and the struggles seem endless. In those moments, it's easy to feel alone or overwhelmed. But what if I told you there's a promise that can carry you through every challenge? A promise that comes from the one who holds the universe in his hands? In today's video, we're diving deep into the power of faith. Faith that isn't just about believing in the good times, but trusting in God's promise for strength when life gets tough. Together, we'll explore how His presence can guide, protect, and empower us to overcome the hardest of struggles, and how we can stand firm in His love, no matter what. So grab a seat, take a deep breath, and let's take this journey of faith together. Let's explore how God's promises are like a beacon of light, guiding us even when the road ahead feels dark. The promise of God's constant presence. In the book of Hebrews, we're reminded that God will never leave us or forsake us. This verse isn't just a nice sentiment to hold on to. It's a promise from the Creator Himself, reminding us that no matter the storm, He is by our side. As we go through life, there will always be times when the world feels like it's closing in on us. Trials come in many forms: loss, pain, disappointment. Yet in the midst of it all, we have the assurance that God is with us. It's easy to forget this when we're caught in the whirlwind of life. But the truth is, our strength doesn't come from our own ability to handle everything on our own. Our strength comes from knowing that God is walking with us. Have you ever taken a moment to reflect on how God has shown up in your life during hard times? Whether it's in the form of a peaceful heart or a door that opens when we least expect it, God's presence is always there. A time for inner alchemy, turning pain into strength. The concept of inner alchemy, the transformation of inner pain into something beautiful and strong, might sound like an ancient mystery, but it's very much alive in our faith. When we face difficulties, God allows us to turn those struggles into opportunities for growth. Our faith isn't meant to stay stagnant. Just like gold is refined through fire, our spirits are refined through trials. In 2 Corinthians 4:8-9, Paul speaks about being hard-pressed on every side, but not crushed, perplexed, but not in despair, persecuted, but not abandoned. This passage reminds us that even when it feels like life is throwing everything at us, we don't need to give up. Instead, we can trust that God is shaping us into stronger, more resilient people. This is where faith comes in. When you choose to trust that God is using your struggles to refine you, you begin to see those challenges not as obstacles, but as tools for spiritual growth. How to live a life of faith and peace. Living by faith doesn't mean we're immune to hardship. In fact, we will face them, but the key is how we respond to them. The New Testament offers us incredible examples of how to navigate life with faith. One of the most profound lessons is the story of Jesus calming the storm. In Mark 4:35-41, we see Jesus and his disciples caught in a violent storm. The disciples are afraid, and Jesus, who is calmly sleeping in the boat, rebukes the wind and tells the waves, "Quiet, be still," and immediately the storm calms. Jesus then turns to his disciples and asks, "Why are you so afraid? Do you still have no faith?" This moment is a powerful reminder for us. When life feels like a storm, we can find peace not in the absence of the storm, but in knowing that Jesus is with us, even in the midst of it. The power of trusting in God's promises. Trusting in God's promises isn't always easy. We want things to go smoothly. We want answers to our prayers now. But faith is built in the waiting. It's in those moments when we feel uncertain or overwhelmed that our faith is stretched. Trusting in God means believing that His timing is perfect, even when we can't see the whole picture. Just as He promised to never leave us, He also promised to lead us through every season of life, even the tough ones. His plan is greater than our understanding, and His ways are higher than ours. This is where spiritual growth happens. It happens when we choose to trust God more than our own fears, when we choose to lean on His strength rather than relying solely on our own abilities. How to faith a life of peace and strength. So how do we cultivate a life that embodies this deep, unshakable faith? It begins with the daily practice of devotion. When we immerse ourselves in the quiet discipline of Bible journaling or carve out sacred moments of prayer, we anchor our hearts in the presence of God. These daily acts are not mere routines, but intentional reminders of His constant presence. Through them, we rediscover His promises, and we find solace in the truth that He is in control, even when life feels chaotic. We can also tap into the timeless wisdom that calls us to be still and know that I am God. There's profound power in surrender, in choosing stillness over striving. Sometimes the truest form of faith isn't in our ability to fight through every storm, but in our willingness to rest in God's sovereignty and trust that He is working, even when we cannot see it. Faith doesn't mean the absence of fear or doubt. It means trusting in God's goodness despite them. It's about surrendering control and letting His strength be made perfect in our weakness. Conclusion: the promise of peace through faith. As we reflect on these truths, I want to leave you with this. Faith isn't a one-time decision. It's a daily choice. A choice to trust, to rest in God's presence, and to believe in His promises, even when the storms come. No matter what you're facing today, know this: God is with you. His peace is available to you. You don't have to face life's challenges alone. With God's strength, you can overcome anything. So let's choose faith today. Choose peace and choose to trust that God's presence will guide us through every moment of our lives. If you're feeling encouraged by this message, don't forget to take a moment to reflect on God's goodness in your life. Stay rooted in faith, and remember, you are not alone. God is with you every step of the way.